let's create a header component and let's create a footer component. In Next.js app architecture, any file that you create which is not conventional name, meaning it is not layout.tsx, it is not page.tsx, that file will not be located in our URL. So that means you don't have to create a new folder named components if you don't want to. That is what we are going to do. We are not going to create it like that. So you can have a folder inside each and every single directory for component if you want, but I will just start doing it like this. So header.tsx, this will have your header, and let's export it, copy it like this, and let's import this header here. Let's also do the same with footer.tsx. So this is your footer, replace to footer. Okay, now we can remove this, and in this place we can also remove this div altogether. And here in the body, what I want is that the header should remain at the top, the footer should always remain at the bottom. We have to go inside the footer, and here we have to define the class name of empty auto, which means margin top of auto. This is something that you just simply place in the footer, and that's about it. In our layout here, I will say body should be of display flex, and it should display flex in a column manner, right? Direction should be column, and it should be h screen, which means height should be 100 vh, or you can do this, which is going to be much better, 100 dvh. Now when you do that and you go back, it works, right? All of a sudden this is at the very bottom. What happens if you have a mobile? You will see that the footer is again at the very bottom. You can also have in this main class name of flex1. Let's have another component which is going to be shared component inside this app component called container.tsx, and this container will be basically a wrapper. So this container element will have return of div. Now here I will have this followed by a template string, and let's simply go and supply the classes of max w7xl, which is 80 rem, which is 1280 pixel. Okay, for our site this should work. You can actually increase it if you want, but I'm just going to go with 2080 pixel. mx should be auto, width should be full, and that should do it. We have to first supply the children here, so let's go with the children. Children, remember, is also always going to be a React node. We would also want to have like class names, which is going to be string, and this will be optional. Let's have this class names, make sure that this is right here. This means that we can use this container to supply our own classes, and this is children, and this should be type, and that's about it. We can also have px of 4, which is something that is done by most sites, so that in mobile it is not edging towards the very end of your screen. There is some sort of like a gap from left and right. Now let's go to our main layout and wrap our children inside the container like so, and here we will see that this is wrapped like this. Now if I keep on going low and low and low, you will find that my eyes will not move much even though I have bigger screen. And if I go like a mobile, too much zoom means mobile view, I still have some left and right padding, so it will look great in mobile as well. See, there's a left and right padding, which is how it will look in mobile. So let's wrap our header and footer as well, so that we have the same container. So I will go to header, and inside this header itself, now there are two ways you can wrap around this entire thing. So we are also doing some sort of like a CSS basics. One is you can wrap this entire thing into container, and this is what most people actually do. Now when you do that, header comes here, and that's great. But the header, if you have of PG color of say black and text of white, just so that we can see it, this is how it will look in reality, which is bad. right? Because what you want is that your colors should at least go to the very end, regardless of the screen width. So what you do here is you don't wrap your header in this container. You wrap your elements or the content of the header in this container. And then this is how it will look. So from the layout perspective, we have the same left spacing and also the right spacing. But from the background and the color perspective, we are covering the entire thing. So let's go and design our header. The slate color of 950 is fine. Then I will have a slate of 50 for the text. And this is going to be my header. Then inside this container, I will have a logo, then a navigation, and then at the very end, I will have login and the sign up. So imagine that this is my header. I will have a logo right here, followed by I will have a small size navigation like home, say about, contact. This is my navigation that I am aiming for. And then here I will have a login. Notice that inside our header, logo and this navigation are closed, and then there's a space, and then there is a login and sign up. So for me, I will categorize it like this: logo and this navigation as one div, followed by this CTAs as another div, or the login and sign up as another div, not sign up, sign up. So I will have two divs. One div will contain the logo. Now the logo, I want it to be a link so that anybody who clicks on it can return back to the home page. So now we come to the link and navigation. So the link has to be imported from link of next link, and let's call this code dusting. Now here we have this href has to be supplied. The code dusting can be removed with rafters. This is my first element inside this div. And then I will have a navigation. Within that, I will have a UL, and then I will have li, followed by link again, and this will be home page. We will have the href of home page. So when you click on this, the about section, wherever in the page that ID is of about, it will scroll to that. And this will be our navigation. Now, for this to be one below the other, we want to have inside this UL of flex, let's give them the gap of 2 and make sure the items are centered and the justify is start. Similarly, we'll have this div of class name, and this will also be flex, followed by justify, center, and items center, and this will be a gap of around 6. Then there's another div, and here I can simply use link. So let's say login, and let's say dash login. Another one is sign up. So let's go with the sign up, and here we go, sign up. We can also style our link. So let's pass the class name of bg slate. Like this is my focus point. I want my users to sign up. Text px. Top and bottom, I want 2 rounded SM. Make the font as bold, and the text should be of LG. Okay, it is fine. Here, I will simply copy paste this entire thing inside the login. I don't need this. That's the only part that I do not need. I simply have to make sure that this is 50 as well. We can also remove this font bold from here as well as here. We don't need it. Yeah, that should do it. So this is good. Now, if we want these two side by side, remember that in the container folder, we had something called class names, and this will work now. So I want to pass the flex so that now they are side by side. I want the justify to be between, and then items as center. This is how it is. Now, before we modify the header padding and all of that, let's work on our fonts. So this link, I want it to be font of bold, want the text to be at least LG. Okay, it is bold, it is LG. And then we have these LIs and all of that. So I think right now they are good to go. Now let's go to the header, PY to be 6. And this is how our header now looks. Our header is done. Now let's go and work on our footer, which is right here. So for that, I can just copy paste this whole thing, go to our footer and simply paste it like this. I will make it footer and I will make this as footer as well. We get it from there and it requires a children. So for that, for me, it should be just text of Excel, and that could be copyright @copy. Then we can have our new date get full year followed by code dusting followed by all rights reserved. If you go back, it says this. We can remove this between and make it center. And now it is fine. We have our header and we have our footer. So that was link and navigation. So we learned about that we can have link element, which is a next element. From next link, we can have hash routes, same page scrolling. Before we move to this route groups, there are things that are left in these points. So let's look into that. One is the data flow and how the caching works around it. Okay, so for that here, now I can showcase you that since you know the link, why not here, rather than this, I can just simply say link and profile. Let's go to dashboard/profile. And in the profile page right here, let's remove this entire thing. Let's go here and now make it as home. Okay, to start again, I refresh. So we have the root page and the root layout. If I go to the profile, it has profile page, profile layout, dashboard layout, and root layout. If I go back to the home page, it has just root page. There's no root layout here. And if I go back to the profile page, again, nothing happens. Now, no matter how many times I go back and forth, the moment the link element started affecting the entire, routing, there's no such thing as console happening on the server end. That means Next.js has cached our pages. So this is how it will work if you are not refreshing it. And see, now it has again bring it back. So go back, go forth, go back, go forth, go back, go forth. It is happening again, right? So this behavior of caching, it is quite confusing, but there are mechanisms which we will learn in the caching segment, how you can actually control these things. Now, what will happen if you simply build this entire thing? So we will start it using nstart or npm start. Now it is running. So I want to make you understand that once you build the project, right, then if you go to the network tab and in your home page, if you refresh, right, see what the Next.js does. By default, it is trying to get this profile, which is one of the routes that we have, and it's trying to get that. It is also trying to get another route, which is sign up and the login. So basically it is trying to prefetch these routes. And this only happens in production. There it is. I just wanted to show you this.